Welcome back, and we continue with more budget news. Paul Chen has outlined plans to give small and medium-sized businesses a shot in the arm to help them get through the fifth wave. He also emphasized the importance of innovation and technology to boost Hong Kong's economic growth. Chloe Feng reports.
Paul Chen was a man on a mission: how to help the city's 340,000 small and medium-sized enterprises survive the toughest COVID wave yet. Tough restrictions have hit the sector hard, with some restaurants and other firms warning that they face permanent closure, which will throw their staff out of work. Part of Chen's strategy is to allow SMEs in certain sectors to defer their rents by up to 6 months. A law will be introduced to stop a landlord from terminating a tenancy or taking legal action should the tenant fail to pay the rent on time. Profits tax assessment this financial year will be reduced by up to 100%, capped at $10,000. This will cost the government $1.2 billion, but will benefit more than 150,000 businesses.
創科發展除咗促進經濟增長同埋創造就業機會。
Chen stressed the importance of innovation and technology, as well as the digital economy, and will set up a committee to speed up digitalization. The government sovereign fund, the Hong Kong Growth Portfolio, will invest $10 billion in tech firms, half for local startups and half for a new Greater Bay Area Investment Fund. Chen also touched on life sciences.
推動香港喺生命健康科技嘅發展。
To further promote the development of life and health technology in Hong Kong, I will earmark $10 billion to provide more comprehensive support in the long run, including hardware, research talents, clinical trials, and data application.
An InnoLife Health Tech Hub will be set up in the Hong Kong Shenzhen Innovation and Technology Park, bringing together 24 laboratories engaged in biomedicine, big data, and artificial intelligence. Chloe Fong, HKIBC.
The government has earmarked funds for infrastructure projects in the northern metropolis. It's also financing arts projects. Macy Mock has more.
The northern metropolis, as well as the tourism sector and electric car owners, have not been left out in the budget. In an attempt to make the city greener, the government will inject an additional $1.5 billion in an existing scheme to install more charging facilities for electric vehicles in the car parks of private residential buildings. Paul Chen said there are also plans to gradually convert some petrol or liquefied petroleum gas filling stations into charging stations for electric vehicles. There was a boost for art and culture with $42 million allocated to organize Hong Kong's first performing arts market within 2 years. The facility will serve as a platform to showcase performing artists from around the world. There's $30 million for a scheme that enables art groups to use technology to enrich their stage productions, and $10 million for small and medium-sized groups to explore art technology. Tourism, which has been battered by COVID, gets a $1.2 billion lifeline. About half the money will go to a 3-year scheme that provides incentives to launch local tours with cultural and heritage elements. And the government has set aside $100 billion to expedite infrastructure work in the northern metropolis, a plan to develop the northern New Territories into an information technology hub with homes for 2.5 million people. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
In other news, the United States and Europe have imposed economic sanctions on Russia as war clouds hovered above eastern Ukraine. The Kremlin is poised to send troops into 2 breakaway regions as Ukraine is on the verge of declaring a state of emergency. Despite international condemnation, Vladimir Putin is determined to right the wrong in his history book. The Russian president called for the demilitarization of Ukraine after establishing diplomatic ties with two breakaway regions in the east, with the Russian parliament authorizing the Kremlin to send troops abroad. Fears have risen in the west.
Every indication is that Russia continues to plan for a full-scale attack on Ukraine.
Diplomacy suffered a setback with a planned meeting between U.S. President Joe Biden and Putin cancelled, as were discussions between U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov. Instead, Biden upped the ante with sanctions targeting Russia's largest banks and ruling elite.
Who in the Lord's name does Putin think gives him the right to declare new so-called countries on territory that belong to his neighbors? Russia will pay an even steeper price if it continues its aggression, including additional sanctions.
The sanctions directly target individuals and companies involved in these actions. We will make it as difficult as possible for the Kremlin to pursue its aggressive actions.
In a major boost for European unity, Germany halted the certification process of a key gas pipeline with Russia, despite warnings that this would send gas prices soaring in Europe. Canada and Japan joined countries imposing economic penalties, while Australia and New Zealand summoned Russian envoys to launch protests. The government's budget received a low-key response from local investors, with the Hang Seng Index climbing 0.6%. Food delivery giant Meituan was among the gainers, rising 3.1%. It recovered ground lost yesterday after a commentary in state media said the market had overreacted to reports of a move to reduce fees for food couriers. HSBC also recouped some of its losses from a day earlier and closed 2.9% higher. The lender and rival Bank of China are suspending Saturday services starting next month because of COVID. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index closed up 140 points. Top 10 active stocks: Tencent up 20 cents, Meituan up $5.30, Alibaba up $1, Tragafund up 18 cents, HSBC up $1.65, AIA down 15 cents, BYD Company up $7.40, Kuaishou Technology up $2.10. Floor is trading against Hong Kong dollar. Euro is trading at 8.85, British pound at 10.60, Canadian dollar at 6.14, and Australian dollar at 5.67. Over to the UK market, FTSE 100 is up 37 points. The price of oil has retreated after nearly touching $100 a barrel because of the Ukraine crisis. Brent crude is trading at around $97 after reaching $99.50 yesterday, while West Texas Intermediate is at $92. Prices eased after traders were assured that a round of Western sanctions against Russia won't hurt supplies. There's also the likelihood of Iranian crude returning to the market if Tehran and the West can reach a nuclear agreement. On to the weather now. Tomorrow will be mainly fine as the cold spell is expected to moderate. Temperatures range between 9 and 16 degrees. It will be warm and sunny on Friday and Saturday. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Wednesday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Sarah Wong. Thanks for watching. Please stay safe and take care.